What's up, guys, and welcome back here to another update, my friends. I hope you guys are having a great day out there. Happy Monday, you guys, and I hope y'all have a wonderful week up ahead. So, speaking of the week ahead, we got ourselves a pretty active week regarding the potential for severe weather, actually starting tomorrow, as we do have ourselves a risk for severe weather, like I said, starting tomorrow, going into actually Tuesday, being tomorrow, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, which Thursday does seem to be kind of like the biggest day regarding severe weather. And the way that it looks now, as we're going to look in the models here, it seems like there will be the good possibility for all hazards, tornadoes, large hail damaging winds, at least for a couple of days regarding the severe potential. Tomorrow, you're going to see not much of a tornado threat, but more of a damaging winds and hail type of threat. So we'll get to that here in a moment. But there also does seem to be the possibility for, flooding as well. So really just a lot of things we need to talk about, my friends. And also, now that I think about it, we have a fire risk as well, a pretty heavy fire weather once again for the southern plains and portions out there out west. So yeah, this is gonna be a pretty action-filled video for you guys, as we have a lot of stuff that we need to look out there for. So in this video, we're gonna go over the radar. We'll go over the future radar over the next couple of days. We'll take a look at the risk areas regarding severe weather. We'll take a look at the flooding risks, obviously, as well, the fire risks. We'll go into the models in depth and kind of show you guys what's going on here with each individual day. But all right, my friends, well, we got ourselves a lot to talk about, so enough talking. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. Starting off here at the radar, my friends, we're taking a look here at the radar as of this morning, and you can currently see we do have ourselves a bit of rain down there towards Texas, moving into Louisiana, portions here of Michigan, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama. We got ourselves a bit of that rain going on out there. Now, if we pan up here to the northeast, we do have ourselves a low pressure system out there towards Nova Scotia, which is, driving a bit of rainfall for some of those regions there out there, and is also causing a lot of snowfall for portions of the northeast, as we do have ourselves a bit of lake effect that we have been watching here for the last little bit. Now, as we take a look at the models, you will actually see how this will continue for the next couple of days. We'll get into more of that here in a few moments, though. Anyways, working our way out here towards the Ohio Valley, Midwest, Central, Northern Plains. It's pretty dry. There's not a whole lot going on out here. We already looked at the Southern Plains. Now, if we look at the Southwest here, out there towards like California, we do have ourselves a bit of rainfall towards like San Jose, Sacramento. Once again, as of this morning here, there was a little bit of snowfall in those upper elevations that was falling. If we work our way over here towards like Northern Nevada, same thing, snow for those upper elevations. The lower elevations, seeing a little bit of rain. And then we work our way up here towards like, Washington and Oregon. We are seeing ourselves a low pressure system well off the coast here of the Pacific Northwest. Pretty strong per se. And this is actually allowing for a bit of precipitation to work its way up here into, obviously, the Seattle area. So for some of those upper elevations, we are seeing snowfall. And once again, those lower elevations, we are seeing a little bit of rainfall and all that stuff going on there. So that's the whole radar view. Ignore these white tiles. I don't know what's going on with my program here, but that's the radar view. Once again, just a little bit of rain in the south, a bit of snow up in the northeast, and a little bit of snow and rain out there in the west overall. Hopping on over here to the future cast, my friends, we're taking a look here at the NAM 3-kilometer model, just as an idea of what things could potentially look like over the next 2.5 to 3 days or so. So if you guys want to follow along with the time, it is right above me here. Now, let me go ahead and say something. This is in Eastern time. If you're in the Central time zone, subtract 1 hour. The Mountain time zone, subtract 2 hours. And of course, Pacific, subtract 3 hours to give you an approximate time period. So anyways, well, let's go ahead and jump on over here to the northeast, my friends. So like we were talking about, we have that strong low pressure system out there towards like Maine, towards portions like Nova Scotia overall, and we are seeing a bit of snow. So to my Nova Scotia people, I doubt there's anybody from Nova Scotia watching this, but if there is, you guys on the western side, we are seeing a bit of snowfall. Now, I can't really look at the accumulations for these areas, as these models, or the models I use, don't really go out for these areas too well. So, just pay attention to Environmental Canada, which is your guys' weather service, for more of those updates. But anyways, to my northeast people here in the United States, we are going to be seeing a bit of snowfall for at least the next day or so. As we approach later today, most of the snow will come to an end, but places up there towards Maine will continue to see the snowfall, and that should come to an end here sometime, actually for like tomorrow afternoon. Most of that should be, or tomorrow evening. Some of that should mostly be gone overall. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. Areas further down to the Mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley in general, over the next couple days or so, I mean, it's going to be relatively clear. So we're not really seeing anything too spectacular out there. Now, hopping down here to the southeastern United States, now we have ourselves a big dome of high pressure that is ongoing up in this region here. So we are seeing some relatively calm conditions for the most part. We work our way down in time, relatively calm, and then we get ourselves a little bit of a disturbance here for the 13th, as we will talk about that here in a little bit. Also, you can kind of see something popping up here for like Missouri right around the 12th. That has to do with the potential for severe weather. We'll get into that here in a moment as well. Now, there is one thing I forgot to mention for the Northeast here. As you guys probably have noticed, there is a lot of these like lines here. You see how tightly woven they are together? So these are what we call isobars, and they basically show an area of constant or equal pressure, which in this case, the closer those isobars are together, the more stronger the winds are, essentially. So we are seeing some pretty strong winds today across the Northeast here. We're seeing the possibility of them being up to 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Some areas in those upper elevations could even see as high as like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts overall. So keep an eye out there for that, especially out there towards like the Mount Washington area. Well, this area is relatively used to high winds, but could be a little stronger out in some of those upper elevations there. But anyways, all right, so let's go and work our way up here towards the Midwest region here. So like we were talking about, for the next day or so, it's going to relatively be fine as we approach our way out there towards like, basically tomorrow. So tomorrow evening, as we're going to take a look at the Storm Prediction Center, we do have ourselves a risk starting tomorrow regarding the potential for severe weather. And according to the NAM here, it does show a little bit of potential storms starting to fire off here, probably right around 9 p.m. Eastern time. Now remember, this is the Central Time, so it would be right around 8 p.m. Central for these time areas. Now timing can obviously change, and we'll continue to watch that. It does show a few storms possibly even working its way up there into like western Illinois, maybe southeastern Iowa. I did not mean to grab a sounding there. But yeah, so a little bit of storms will be going on out there. Should dissipate by the morning of the 13th. And of course, here for the 13th, this is where the model ends. We're going to see another potential for severe weather. We'll dive more into the severe weather realm here in a little bit, guys. First of all, we're going to go over the risk areas and all of that stuff before we get on into that. But anyways, well, that's what's going on there, my friends. Now, let's go ahead and hop our way down here to the southwest United States here. Really over the next little bit. There's not a whole lot going on except for this little push of precipitation. For more of these areas down here, it's pretty dry. But yeah, once again, areas out there towards, as you're going to see, Washington, Oregon, California getting another band here of precipitation. More snow for those upper elevations like they really need it. They really don't, as there is a lot of snow that's already up there. A lot of upper elevation snowfall for portions out there in the Rockies as well, as we're going to be seeing that over the next little bit for, the 11th into the 12th overall. And as we work our way up here to the Pacific Northwest, we're going to be seeing a big push of precipitation. That's the same storm here for, really starting later today into tomorrow, with a lot of snowfall in those upper elevations and, a lot of rain for those lower elevations overall. It could be quite a wintry mess for some of those upper elevations there. So look out there for that overall. But anyways, yeah, no, as the big picture, you guys, I mean, like I said, over the next couple of days here, we're going to watch this, this ridge work its way out of the country here. Another low develop across like the Central Plains, driving some severe weather. Obviously, we have ourselves that that western storm system that's going to be rolling through later today into tomorrow, and kind of dissipating here for the 13th whenever that other system develops overall. But yeah, so that's what's going on out there, my friends. Just thought I'd mention that. But let's go ahead and hop over here to the severe weather risks for the next couple of days, as we do have ourselves multiple days of severe weather expected. Alrighty, so taking a look here at tomorrow's risk regarding the potential for severe weather. So this will be here for obviously Tuesday. So as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center has a level 1 risk, which the scale goes from 1 to 5. We have a level 1 threat across portions here of northeastern Oklahoma, including Tulsa, portions out there towards eastern Kansas, including like Kansas City, down there towards like Parsons, I think Coffeyville. Yeah, Coffeyville is included down there. We also have this moving into portions like western Missouri, out there towards, like, once again, Kansas City, Osceola, Nevada, and those regions out overall. So it's a relatively small area regarding the potential for severe weather here. Now, the probabilities here, the good news is that there is not a tornado threat. So I'm happy to tell you tomorrow there's no risk for tornadoes. As the week progresses, though, especially for Thursday, I think there will be a tornado threat. As you're going to see, there's no breakdown quite yet for probabilities for those days, but I'll go ahead and show you guys the risk here in a few moments regarding those days for severe weather. But yeah, so no tornado threat for tomorrow. There is a small hail threat for those regions here, a 5% chance, basically saying that, within 25 miles of a given area, there's a 5% chance we could see hail, possibly up to quarter size, maybe slightly larger in worst case scenario, but relatively right around quarter size hail with a low 5% chance of happening. So not really too crazy. Same thing for damaging winds, 5% risk area there. Once again, nothing too wild, just, a small low end severe weather threat out there that we'll keep an out there for tomorrow. But yeah, like I said, these storms was what we call elevated for the most part. These storms will relatively be elevated, which will actually prevent those storms from potentially becoming tornadic. So that will be overall good news. All right, so now we work our way into day 3, which is equivalent here to Wednesday here. And you can see that we still have a level 1 risk, which is on the lower end of the tier, but it is a lot larger compared to tomorrow's risk. So we have a lot more areas that's included. Now you notice actually some of the areas that's included in tomorrow's risk is also included into Wednesday's risk as well. All the way as far down here as Northeast Texas. This is kind of north of Dallas, Dallas-Fort Worth. You guys, as of now, are currently out of that risk out there, more towards like Paris and northeastern Texas. This does cut through portions out there, once again, towards Tulsa. Just shyly to the east of Oklahoma City, throughout portions of eastern Kansas, even southeast Nebraska is included out there towards Nebraska City. Lincoln is included there. Southern Iowa, south of Des Moines, towards like Shenandoah, Creston, Cincinnati area. This is not Ohio. This is eastern Iowa, though. And, of course, we have ourselves Missouri, once again included, Kansas City, the northern side of Missouri, then southwestern side. This does not include St. Louis. This does not include Springfield, although Springfield's right on the edge of that risk out there. But, yeah, that's kind of right where the risks are. Now, like I said, there is no breakdown regarding the potential for severe weather. Right now, it's just equivalent to a 5% risk overall of severe weather happening. So that's really about as much as I could tell you. There's no breakdown per se right now. But, yeah, so once again, another level 1 threat here for Wednesday. Alrighty, you guys, and then we work our way over here into Thursday, or the big day here for severe weather. And as you can see, this does include a lot of Texas throughout the central and northeastern side. This does include areas near Austin, Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth region, Texarkana, Tyler, Texas. And so a lot of pretty decent populated areas here. This is north of Houston as of now, but remember, this is actually equivalent to a level 2 threat. So basically here for tomorrow being Tuesday and Wednesday, those are level 1 threats. This is equivalent as of now to a level 2 threat, so we'll need to watch out there for it here for Thursday. So yeah, Thursday seems to be the biggest day. Once again, a lot of Texas, southeastern Oklahoma out there, just shy to the south of Tulsa, southeast of Oklahoma City, more towards like Idabel, portions by Ardmore and those surrounding areas. Portions out there towards like southwestern and west central portions of Arkansas, including Fort Smith, is included there. Also portions, like I said, near Texarkana, which that's more northeast Texas, but I think it shares a border. Yeah. So some of those regions by Hope, Bodcal, and some of the surrounding areas out there in western Arkansas. We also have ourselves portions of northwestern Louisiana, including Shreveport, at risk here for Thursday. So overall, it's a pretty decent size risk here. Remember, like I said, this is a level 2 equivalent. Like I said, it's a pretty decent threat here for severe weather given how large it is. Now, also know that this is probably going to shift over the next couple of days since it is, basically 4 days away. So this will be shifting a little bit. So all of the areas that's, inside the warned, the warned zone here is still not final. This could change. You could be included into the risk, the heavier risk, or you could be withdrawal. There still is a lot of things we need to watch out there for. So we'll just keep an eye out there for this. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to take a look here at the flooding risks over the next couple of days here. And then after that, we'll take a look at the fire risk, and then we'll take a look at the models regarding what we potentially could see regarding the environment for the next couple of days regarding the potential for severe weather, and that will finalize the video. But anyways, so let's go and take a look here at today's flooding risk. So if we turn on day 1 risk, there is no risk for flooding today, which is good. Here for tomorrow being Tuesday, there's also no risk for Tuesday. Wednesday, no risk for Wednesday, but look at this, Thursday, we got ourselves a risk out there for portions of Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas. So this is a little bit different than the way that the severe weather risks work. So while severe weather risks, there's a level from 1 to 5. In flooding, there's a scale from 1 to 4, in which we have a level 2 or a slight risk, which is that middle level for flooding. So a decent threat for flooding out there. I believe it's equivalent still to a 15% risk for flooding out there towards like central and really a lot of Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma included, northeastern northeastern Texas and a pretty good threat for flooding. So if you live in a low-lying area that's prone to flooding, make sure you guys are ready here for Thursday, which is also the day of the big severe weather we're expecting out there. And of course, we have ourselves the green area, which is, a low level. It's a level 1 threat for flooding, which, flooding can still happen. It's just a little bit more likely towards the yellow than the green area. So watch out there for Thursday as flooding is possible. And for Friday, as of right now, Friday, there is also a really large risk for flooding that actually works its way up here towards the mid-Atlantic. Actually, I haven't seen this yet, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, pretty large level 1 threat for flooding. And of course, we have another level 2 threat towards like Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, moving into Mississippi, into Alabama, and some of those surrounding areas. So if you live in those regions, once again, that's prone to flooding across these areas in Mississippi, Alabama as well, keep an eye out there for that here for Friday, as that is a possibility. All right, so now we're moving on over here to the fire weather side of things, my friends. We are expecting a lot of wildfires out there towards, like the Central Plains here, as we're about to see. So for today, we got ourselves a pretty big risk out there. So there is a level 1 to 3, as you guys can see, elevated, critical, extreme. Extreme's obviously the worst here in this case. Critical is kind of the mid-level, and elevated is kind of like the lower level. We have a decent threat for wildfires today across portions like east central Wyoming, southwestern South Dakota, extreme northwestern Nebraska, throughout portions of like central, west central Kansas, the panhandle here of both Texas and Oklahoma, as well as a little sliver out there towards northeastern New Mexico. And of course, we have that elevated risk that does go out there more towards like, like the northern Midwest, upper Midwest here, towards more of the Central Plains, like, more of Nebraska, even including, like I said, western Iowa, even a small sliver in southwestern portions of Minnesota and northwestern portions out there towards Missouri in the on the fire risk here for today. So really big wildfire conditions. So wildfires are sparked by strong winds and low humidity, which in this case will be a good possibility out there for, once again, wildfires to occur. Now, tomorrow's risk, it's a little bit smaller of a threat out there, just a little region out there towards western Texas. The elevated level 1 threat does go into the panhandle here for tomorrow being Tuesday, but, tomorrow's biggest threat is out there towards, once again, western Texas. And for the day after that, well, we got ourselves a pretty big risk out there on the backside of the storm system we're going to be seeing here. Here for, let's see, this is actually out there for Wednesday, I believe. So we can actually see a little bit more of a wildfire condition ongoing there towards western Oklahoma, once again, western Texas for the panhandle, and even portions out there towards like eastern New Mexico overall. So overall, we're going to see the potential for a little bit of wildfire conditions to continue across some of those regions. All right, you guys, so now we're going to dive our way over here into the models regarding the potential for severe weather. We're going to take this day by day here, starting tomorrow for Tuesday, into Wednesday, and of course into Thursday with the big risk overall. So we're taking a look at the NAM model. This model, as we work our way down in time here for late tomorrow, so as we approach right around pretty much 8 p.m., right around 8 p.m. Central Time, right around that time period, so basically evening here for tomorrow, we could see some of those storms develop across portions out there towards like northern portions of Missouri. Now, given the environment here, if we take a look at the NAM model, it's kind of like a really small open window there for the potential of severe weather. So for severe thunderstorms, there's something we call mixed layer CAPE, or just CAPE in general, which stands for convective available potential energy, which is basically simply just the fuel that's available in the atmosphere to produce severe weather or thunderstorms in general. Over 1,000 can produce organized severe weather, in which you can see this little pocket here where we do have those values getting over 1,000. So in theory, there is enough instability here for this event here. So you notice that there's a lot of these parallel, these lines that go through. So there's also something we call a cap, no cap, which basically what it is it's a warm layer in our atmosphere that prevents thunderstorms from happening. I've explained this on my stream multiple times, but like I said, all you need to know is that this area here prevents storms from happening, and we have this little window here where the cap is non-existent, which storms can freely fire in this environment. So that in itself is there. Regarding the lower level winds, I mean, we got ourselves winds, so about 4,000 feet up or so. These winds are very important for organization of severe weather, and we have ourselves about 40 knot lower level jet, which is not terrible per se. We work our way towards our mid-level atmosphere, which is about 20,000 feet, and our winds are about 25 knots. So the winds actually get weaker as you go up in altitude. So that in itself is meh. I can definitely see why this is a low-end severe weather event. So I'm going to grab a sounding here, basically a sample of the atmosphere according to NAM. Remember, this is here for tomorrow, guys, up there in northern Missouri. And, well, this model, well, kind of just, to me, shows, I mean, I'm not going to dive in the, skew T-plots or, photographs or anything like that. Bottom line, the winds are pretty weak. So I don't think we'll see, like, long-lived severe weather. And honestly, I don't see too much out of this here, according to the sounding. Maybe just some damaging winds and maybe some small hail, which makes sense because that's what the risk is here, according to the sounding overall. But yeah, so it just seems like a low-end event, small hail, maybe some, gusty winds as well. But tornadoes, nah, tornadoes will be completely off the table here regarding tomorrow, at least as of right now. There's actually a better environment here. Let me actually look at this. So this is for 00 Zulu, which that would be right around 7 p.m., and given this environment, yeah, so this one's a little bit better, but still the same thing stands. Don't, ignore that this says tornado. We have a pretty dry lower atmosphere, which this is actually going to be, elevated storms, which will honestly probably prohibit tornadic development. And even if we say magically did get a tornado, it would be on the lower scale. It wouldn't be anything, too wild per se. So, but yeah, mostly just hail, maybe some gusty winds overall with that. But anyways, all right, let's go and take this a little bit further. So we work our way down in time here. So now we work our way over here into actually like late Wednesday. So back over here at the SPC's risk, let me go ahead and bring this up here for you guys. So on the Storm Prediction Center's risk here for Wednesday, like I said, we do have ourselves that risk going all the way up here towards like southern Iowa. And whenever it comes to it, well, I personally think this might be able to extend into portions of, like Illinois. Models have been talking about this for a little bit. I've actually talked about this on the stream. It was either yesterday or the day before. And the model is still consistent. Once again, the winds aren't anything spectacular. I don't think it'll be anything super, super crazy, but I do think that we could have some storms out there towards like Illinois, maybe even Indiana, being a possibility out there for, once again, here for late Thursday, sometime well after sunset or right around sunset, I guess, since the new time change happened, which this would be right around like 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Where there could be the possibility of that occurring. But yeah, so that's just that. And of course, as we work our way over here into basically late Thursday, we're going to have to look at the GFS for this because this is going a little bit further out in time. So if we hop our way over here to the big picture overall, right? You can actually see how we do have a good abundance of, we'll go and hop down here to the southern plains. We do have a lot of instability. So remember, like I was saying, we really need about 1,000 joules per kilogram or more, and we're seeing over 2,000 for the most part. So there's a lot of instability or a lot of thunderstorm juice in the atmosphere here. So that's a good thing for severe weather anyways. Our lower level winds, nothing spectacular, but they do increase overnight, as you guys can see. And if we continue to have any convection in those overnight hours, which it looks like a cap starts to become in place, so once again, those storms could be prevented. But if all holds up well, and we have a lot of that instability that does line up with a pretty strong lower level wind or lower level jet stream, this could allow for some tornadoes out there, I think, in eastern Texas. I mean, shoot, maybe even portions out there towards, Louisiana, if we can get that cap to break in that region, which, it'll be kind of hard to break that, but we'll see how the models trend that overall. So, yeah, so if I go ahead and grab a sounding here, we're going to go ahead and loop back just a little bit here. I'm going to grab a sounding. Let's just say we'll grab one in this little area here, kind of in east central Texas overall. I think the main threat will still be like damaging winds overall. Yeah, damaging winds and, maybe some hail. Pretty unstable atmosphere, I will tell you. There's a lot of instability in the atmosphere. The winds in the lower atmosphere are still... they're not too crazy, but upper altitude winds are, pretty strong. But honestly, the lower altitude winds is kind of where you really want to look out there for regarding severe weather, as that can do a lot of things to your storms, regarding tornadic cells, severe storms in general. So, but anyways, my friends, well, that is basically what I wanted to go over here. I know this is a very long video for you guys, but I really kind of wanted to go in depth with y'all. Another thing really quickly is our dew points. We have some really rich moisture. So our dew points are in the upper 60s, which is perfect for severe weather setups and stuff like that. Moisture is very important for severe weather, as all that warm air that's collected at the surface gets shot up into the atmosphere and condenses and, turns into these big columns of cumulonimbus clouds, which then eventually matures into a thunderstorm. So these moisture values are very important, but we have a lot of moisture. I'm happy to tell you guys that. Well, not really, but, for severe weather's sake, yes. But all right, my friends, well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you leave a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. It'll be greatly appreciated. Much love to y'all. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We will try to do a live stream later today. There's no promises, but we'll try to here later on. But all right, guys, once again, much love to you. Once again, big shout out goes to Proxy for being the weekly top supporter. Be greatly appreciated, my friends. If you guys want to check out our merch and stuff like that, it is in the description. Also, our Venmo if you guys wanted to support us. But alrighty, you guys, once again, thanks for joining, and we'll catch you guys here in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See you in the next one.